one neat thing about the experience that you guys had was that you were able to lend money that has already come through. So, that has already gone through a loan cycle. So you're seeing, imagine if you had donated that money, it already would have lived its course. And it might have gone on and really helped somebody, but now that money has come back in and you get to help another group of people for the same amount of money, and that just keeps going and going and going. So that's one way that it's really obviously exciting and helpful. Another thing, how many of you have heard the phrase, if you give a man a fish, he'll eat for a day. If you teach a man a fish, he'll eat for a lifetime. Have you heard that phrase?
Yes. Raise your hand, yes.
So
it's kind of like that teaching concept too. If you show me, I'll do it. If you just do it for me almost, they don't know how to.
Exactly. So what we say at KIVA is we take that saying one step farther, and we say, well, what if you already know how to fish, but you just don't have a net? So what we're trying to do is give people who already have the skills, we don't want to just give them a handout, but we want to give them a hand up, because we know that they have the skills, they have the knowledge and the ability to do this. They just don't have that initial money to get it going. And so if we could give them the money, say to buy a fishing net, we give them the money, they buy the net, and now they can really start their business and get it going. And it's something that I think we, sometimes forget how that happens more easily here or in our communities. And KIVA kind of helps remind us of that. So
awesome.
Yeah.
Anybody else on the question? Go ahead, Sadrina. Come on down. You might actually be able to see Sadrina back there. Come on up here. You might want to tell her where you're from too.
Hi.
Hi, Sabrina.
My name's Sadrina.
Sadrina.
Yeah.
Oh, Sadrina. Hi.
Hi.
Where you from?
I'm from Gabon in Africa. Oh. Yeah. So how does KIVA decide which countries to send money to? Is there some sort of criteria to meet?
We don't. There is some criteria. There are certain countries that we will choose not to disperse loans in, for example, because we are worried that it might not be safe for us to have one of our fellows or our field partners on the ground there. So in a conflict zone where communication or something might be really hard, we might suspend loans there for a period of time. But we also do loan in a lot of conflict zones. They're just that might be a reason that you would see something be paused for temporarily or delay starting lends, or us delay partnering with microfinance institutions there. But we want to loan all over. The way that it works is we wouldn't. I don't think that we would turn away a country that wanted that based on them being a country. But what we need contact with and communication with a microfinance institution, so just a bank that we can trust and that we know is reliable and that they have done their due diligence, which is they've done all the background checks to make sure that they're running a good business. Because what we don't want to happen is for them to post loans on the KIVA website and us give them loans and then have that bank take the money or not give it the way that they said they were, because the whole experience on KIVA is you're picking the borrower that you're funding. So that's I feel like it wouldn't be that we would deny a country so much as we would maybe not pick a certain microfinance partner if we felt like they weren't ready or had a bad experience or something like that. But there are countries that we do pause or suspend loans with, because of conflict or something like that.
That was a fabulous question. Thank you very much. I guess my question might roll off of hers. What takes place in relation to interest? Because obviously you're using different microfinance banks in different areas. Is there interest on the loan, and how much?
Yeah, there is interest on the loans, and actually it's high interest. So the reason that the interest rates are high is because the loans are very small amounts of money. So in order for the microfinance institution to make enough money back on their loan to function and to pay their staff and all of their operating costs, the interest rate has to be proportionally greater than it would be if, say, we were lending them $50,000 instead of $600.
Right, that makes sense. Okay.
So the interest rates are higher, but that interest rate goes to the microfinance institution. It does not come to KIVA. So no one at KIVA is making a profit on the borrowers. And also, there are loans that you can make that certain loans on KIVA, they represent a very small portion of the loans, but there are certain loans that are either interest-free or we also have this new program called KIVA Zip, which is where you lend directly to the borrower through KIVA. So I put my $25 into KIVA Zip, and that $25 goes right to the borrower instead of the microfinance institution. And those loans are interest-free because we're not responsible for helping the microfinance institution stay afloat also.
That might be an avenue for us to consider for next year, because I'd love to see all of our money really go like hand to hand, person to person. So that'd be great.
Definitely.
That's some good
information. And I will tell you, when I first started here, I was asking the same question, like, well, why are you charging these people interest? They're, really need this money. But I have heard a lot of times the experience of borrowers that they say, well, that's just how loans work. We're not, they will take it one step further where they're saying, we're not asking for a handout. We're just asking for a loan. We're asking for access to banking that we don't have. And banks charge interest on loans. So it's something that we get support from our borrowers on typically. It doesn't seem like they're confused about why they're being charged interest.
Right. No, it makes sense. I was just curious.
Great question.
Anybody else? You can't come up. Hold that question 1 second. You two, did you come up? You have another one? It's okay. Sabrina's question. Oh my goodness, I was so interested. Come on, Nick. Come on up. Hi.
Hello.
Hi, my name is
Nick.
Hi, Nick.
I was gonna ask what KIVA stands for.
Okay. Yeah. KIVA. Actually, I'm so sorry. My computer just made your picture get really small. Let me try. Okay, there you go. Okay. KIVA is a Swahili word for unity, and it's rarely used. It's not super widely. We've learned that most people in Swahili speaking countries don't use the word KIVA terribly often anymore. So now KIVA means microfinance.
Oh, there you go.
We're trying to make that happen. Make it a part of everyone's vocabulary. Make it a verb.
There you go. Good question.
But thank you. Great question.
Who else? That's it? Come on, I gotta repeat my kids. You coming back up?
A question.
Alicia, come on. You know you have a question. Don't be shy. She has a question. Come on up. Alicia's coming.
She's a shy nugget.
Go ahead. Nice and loud.
Do I have to get
You don't have to if she can see you. Go ahead.
How long have you been working with KIVA to help micro entrepreneurs improve their business?
Could you hear her? She said,
how long have I been working with KIVA? What was the second part?
To help improve micro entrepreneurs improve their business.
I'm sorry. I still didn't quite hear the second part, but the first part is I've been working here as an intern since October, and our education program is launching this fall, and I'm planning on staying through the fall through the lunch. So I'm still going to be sticking around a while.
I know the kids in the last class asked about your background, because we've been chatting about careers, and so maybe you can give them a little insight on how you got what you got for a position and how it's going to benefit you.
Absolutely. So I studied political science and Spanish when I was in school, and then I majored in social justice. And I actually never